The attacks that have taken place in Doha earlier today, the Palestine Liberation Organization has strongly condemned the Israeli attack on Doha, denouncing it, calling it heinous. And the PLO Secretary General Hussein al-Sheikh has stated that the attack was a blatant violation of international law and Qatar's sovereignty. He further warned it posed a serious threat to regional security and stability. The condemnation reflects growing regional concern over escalating tensions and breaches of international norms and laws in the Middle East. In fact, Iran has also strongly condemned the airstrike on Doha, calling it quote-unquote dangerous and criminal action that violates international law. The Foreign Ministry spokesperson of Israel has said that the attack that allegedly targeted Hamas officials constitutes a gross breach of Qatar's sovereignty and territorial integrity. In fact, there have been other reactions coming in. I'm going to take them one by one. Saudi Arabia has also issued a stern warning following Israeli airstrike in Doha. It has condemned the attack, called it brutal and a criminal violation of international law. In an official statement that was released by the Foreign Ministry of Saudi Arabia, it warned of dire consequences if Israel continued what it called persistent and unlawful aggression in the region. Saudi Crown Prince further spoke with the Qatari Emir, and the Saudi Crown Prince has affirmed the kingdom's support to deploy all capabilities to support Qatar after the strike. Mark, how is this going to play out, like I initially asked you, within the Middle East and the global geopolitical scenario that Israel finds itself in? Here, the Saudi prince has already spoken to the Qatari Emir, and he has said, we are going to provide you all support, financial or military or otherwise, to ensure that your sovereignty and territorial integrity is safeguarded.
This is huge. You and I need about an hour to go through this step by step. I would say, in my humble opinion, one thing is what is said publicly. It's also what is then said privately. We have to go back that on the 7th of October 2023, Hamas plus many citizens, as they would call themselves, within Gaza, then attacked Israel. Israel has been under an existential threat over the last nearly 2 years that this has gone on to. And also in regard to Qatar, as I said earlier, they then finance Al Jazeera. They have then had the Hamas leadership living in their country for a very, very long time. That Hamas leadership were then expelled. This group that has then taken over from Sinwar has then been living there. If Israel has then, if they feel it's that serious to then take this action, then that is why they have then done it. And we await to see, as I say, how this plays out in regard to the rhetoric, because there are many Arab countries around that wish privately for Israel to take out Hamas and to take out any other terrorist organization along this line. They have pushed these people also with this jihadist thinking and ideology out of their own countries. To you.
Right. You know, Pope Leo of the Vatican has also condemned the attack. He said that the entire situation is very serious. Remember, just a few days ago, it was the president of Israel who had gone to Vatican to meet the Pope. In fact, Chinese embassy in Qatar has issued safety reminders to Chinese nationals living in Qatar. United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres has also condemned the strikes on Doha. The United Nations has stated it as a flagrant violation of sovereignty, territorial integrity of Qatar. The UN Secretary General has also condemned the ongoing Israeli strikes on Gaza. Listening to what he said.
We are just learning about the Israeli attacks in Qatar, a country that has been playing a very positive role to achieve a ceasefire and release of all hostages. I condemn this flagrant violation of the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Qatar. All parties must work towards achieving a permanent ceasefire, not destroying it.
All right. Also, Egypt has chimed in. It has condemned the attack. Egypt has stated that the escalation undermines global efforts for de-escalation in the region. Coming back to you, Mark, again, the big question, that's what the global community is going to think and interpret, that is this attack going to now further undermine months-long efforts by all the parties who are vested in bringing peace and prosperity in the region? It's a step back. It's perhaps many steps back. Has it undermined all this progress that has been made so far?
Well, this crescendo, let's go through some of that in regard to the condemnation from Iran. Some people would say that's a little bit rich, considering the amount of financing they have done of the Ring of Fire around Israel, with its Israel is its sworn enemy, to wipe it off the face of the earth. And also we have to remember the rocket attacks that Iran has actually done against it, plus aiming to get a nuclear bomb with only one mind, which is to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. There will be this crescendo in regard to UN. I will then call that out, because they then have to look at UNRWA, how that's funded, how UNRWA has then participated with actually then funded and cooperating with Hamas. We could then, in regards to the UN, let's look at UNIFIL and what they've been doing in Lebanon. People may think, well, Mark, why are you bringing all this up? This is all relevant because we have to look at past behavior of countries, past behavior of bodies like the United Nations, and why they then have certain actions in the way that they do. And when they speak now, we then have to say that respectfully, that many of us would turn around and say that I'll try and keep an eye on these events that have been unfolding. That again, people speak with full tongue. If the UN actually looked at UNRWA, if UN actually looked at, inverted commas, the refugee policy that has been unfolding not long after the formation of Israel in 1948, and now you're into 8th, 9th generations of refugees, I find this rather disingenuous. So there is a heck of a lot to unpack here. The thing is, and what is not then appreciated by many, many people, is that within the Middle East, you have to act as the strong man, as a strong person in that situation. If you are then appeared to be weak, then that will be exploited. And yes, the condemnation, the crescendo will grow, especially as we have countries like, unfortunately, the UK, Canada, France, and Australia, then wanting to push within a United Nations meeting at the end of this month to then recognize a Palestinian state, to recognize a country that doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't exist. The fact is there is already a Palestinian state. They've already tried that. It was called Gaza, and actually it's called Jordan. And there, again, there is a lot of history for us to unpack there. The crescendo, I am sure that the Israeli government feel that they will be able to take the noise and take that crescendo and press on. We all want to see the hostages, dead or alive, released. And as I've said a few minutes ago, the war would end immediately.
Okay, all right. Mark, thank you very much for joining me, sharing your insights. We're getting more reports. As per reports,